The most interesting thing in impact. Principles like neutrality, which are held up in the social purpose world as paramount, are getting challenged in workplaces everywhere. Now, we've seen neutrality be challenged in the past, but the crisis in Gaza and its cascading effects are pushing it to new levels and will likely push Canada's local and international nonprofits, charities, associations, as well as funders for a renewed approach on exercising neutrality. 2024 could be the start of a monumental shift in challenging neutrality itself. Now, how can this play out? Well, principles like neutrality are sacrosanct, or so they say. Israel's siege of Gaza illustrated just how emotionally and politically charged this crisis is. Reactions, opinions, and responses were varied, tense, deeply personal, and polarized across the social purpose world, including several funders, intermediaries, nonprofits, and charities choosing to be silent, to be neutral. While the sector holds up principles such as neutrality and nonpartisanship as paramount, the street demonstrations, the heated arguments at workplaces, and online reactions highlighted just how much backlash, tension, pushing back, or remaining silent and neutral can get you. And here's the thing, neutrality and silence aren't new behaviors. We've seen this before. There was silence for a number of months across the social purpose world following the 2015 release of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's final report on the intergenerational trauma and effects of the Indian residential school system. Why? No one knows. But I remember in conversations, in leadership circles, in many organizations, large charities, among grant makers and funders about neutrality and nonpartisanship, there were questions like, what is there to say? Or is it our place to say something here? These are the types of questions that were on the table. There was also silence for weeks and months following the murder of George Floyd as well. Again, why? No one knows. But there's a pattern of so-called need to be seen as neutral. And this year, this neutrality orthodoxy will face its biggest challenge yet. There have been reports of employees challenging their boards, donors, executives on the silence and neutral stances following Israel's siege of Gaza, or following discoveries of unmarked graves in former residential school grounds. For many, this type of silence in the name of neutrality is unbearable. Cultural anthropologists like Maria Luisa Aquino Loeb talk about how silence becomes the currency of power. In fact, she wrote an entire book on this subject. Even the great inventor and artist Leonardo da Vinci once said, nothing strengthens authority so much as silence. And people across the social purpose world have seen how power and authority has manifested in organizations, from hiring practices to who deserves funding, to who gets access to services, to which donors get a mic, to which crises get neutrality. Silence, power, and neutrality are tightly connected. This year will be the most challenging year for staying neutral, and I hope there are nuanced discussions on the future of neutrality as a principle. That's the most interesting thing in impact. I'll see you soon.